So think of, if we have Mars as the planet of war and intense energy and passion, for sure, Ketu's an octave higher than that. So when these two come together to travel, it can be very intense. It'd be a very intense period that we're in, and this will last until July 28th. So, and there is an exact conjunction on July 20th that we'll talk about in a little bit. But when Mars comes together with Ketu in the sign of Leo in Vedic astrology, it creates a very explosive and spiritually charged period. So both Mars and Ketu are fiery planets, and Mars brings action and courage, and Ketu intensifies that energy. Now remember, Ketu's job is to push us towards inner growth. So it's we're going to see a lot of change. And we might be holding on to, like that raccoon that I was talking about. No, I don't want to change. I'm not going to change. And yet we're going to be making changes. Definitely internal changes will happen and external changes will happen. And let me just say that, and James and I were going to talk about this, the energy is also great for making certain changes. So I am going to talk about the good things that can come out of this energy. But why does this transit even matter? It matters because Mars is all about taking action. And also it's about conflict. And Ketu represents detachment and our karmic past. And it means spiritual progress. Because Ketu, again, it doesn't matter to Ketu how we arrive. It's just that we arrive in a spiritual way. So to learn spiritual principles, to understand that we're spiritual beings here. And then Leo is ruled by the sun, and that represents the ego and leadership and self-expression. And so with all three of these fire elements coming together, Mars and Ketu and Leo, which is ruled by the sun, this energy means transformation. Lots of transformation here. Now, can it be volatile? Yes, it can be. Absolutely, it can be. Because this period can bring a lot of anger to it. And so you want to really watch your energy. You want to, not to make impulsive decisions. You want to watch conflict. But for spiritual progress, it is really a great time for purification. So maybe even doing fire rituals, like writing something that somebody you've been so pissed off at for forever. You write them something. You may not have to mail it, but instead you might put it through a fire ritual. That might be something. But again, you want to watch road rage. So if you are somebody or know somebody that does road rage, you might want to make sure that they're paying attention not to do that. So also hidden anger or emotional frustration might rise to the surface. So it's also a great time to burn karmic baggage. And how does somebody do that? Often through surrender, frankly, through surrender and spiritual discipline, having a lot of discipline here. So also we'll probably see a lot of sudden aggression, possibly heading into war, which it looks like between Israel and Iran. And because it has a lot to do with military also. Cybersecurity breaches that absolutely could be going on. So also, we're going to see at some point, there could be some real bigger ego clashes, if you will, in leadership roles. So, and your mind might race faster than usual during some of these times that I'm talking about. So, and the psychological effects might really come down to who am I really? Because it could be an inner kind of identity crisis with people. So all of a sudden you might start questioning, who am I really? What am I about? Why am I here? Those are great questions, to start doing inner work with. Now, in your professional life, there may be some rebellion against authority. There might be conflicts with bosses. sudden changes in jobs. So, and then spiritually, it's you might be feeling, I don't know, detached again from what has been normal for you. Again, wanting to seek an inner time. So pay attention to your dreams during these next couple of months for sure, because our dreams often will help us to see if we're stuck, if we're holding on to something, or something we need to look at. Now, the exact conjunction is on July 20th, and that's between Ketu and Mars in Leo, and it's in the Purva Falguni nakshatra. And so on a global scale on July 20th, that is a transit that may really trigger some political upheavals. And it could be leadership crisis, mass movements. So it looks like we're kind of headed in that direction anyway. Mars governs conflict, and Ketu exposes hidden truths. So you put those two together in Leo. So it will be a lot of, probably a lot of drama and some power struggles. So interesting enough, this alignment, again, for the next couple of months, can really highlight areas where we need to learn about spirituality, letting go of our ego, and finding true satisfaction in our lives. So it could lead to people having spiritual awakenings. I mean, that's how powerful this energy is right now. It's really deep. It's all about transformation. So it could lead to spiritual awakenings. Maybe the challenges presented ultimately lead you to understand why you're here, to understand your self, and shifting maybe your priorities into doing more spiritual growth, which shifting a priority might look like, I'm going to dedicate a certain time a day to meditate, or I'm going to dedicate time to slow down and journal, those kind of things, or I'm going to dedicate some time to go out in nature. And also, it's like, this is also a time to understand karmic lessons. And so you might want to look at your life, and it would be a great time to do that and see what kind of circumstances you continually find yourself in, and maybe look at some of those and start to make different choices. Because what this energy is really good for, it's great for making changes. Since we have this intense energy, doesn't all have to go to hell in a handbag. I would be using it for looking at your relationship. Does your relationship need changing? Because it doesn't mean you have to end it. Now, there will be a lot of relationships probably that end, but it doesn't have to go in that direction. It's more about speaking up, because Ketu makes us go inward, but Leo makes us speak up. So maybe for the first time, you'll be speaking up about how you feel, really, how you feel in general, or how you feel spiritually. Because this is, it's really good for making changes, because this time is about a complete transformation. So let's say you need to set boundaries with somebody. Somebody's been walking over you and for a long time, and you just have had it. This energy will help you set those boundaries. So this could provide a boost and clarity for the energy you need to set boundaries, because that would be extraordinary. Now, another thing, this energy is great for if you have addictions. If you have addictions, I don't care if it's alcohol, food, drugs, I don't care what the addiction is. This energy is so powerful, it could help you set your mind to stop the addiction, because addictions hold us back. And remember, Rahu and Ketu, the north and the south node, they only care about propelling us forward. But there's no spiritual bypass. You have to do the work. And this energy is all about transformation and doing the work. So this could be an extraordinary time if you use the energy wisely. And that's really what I would suggest to do, because I think it would be so important for everybody to really look inward to see what it is that you need to work on. Now, speaking of that, I know James has a couple of things here that I want to go over with you. James has coming up right away, I think. He is relaunching his psychic intuitive certification course. And it starts, let me see, Thursday, June 26th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And the first live session, that's when the first live session is, Thursday, June 26th. And it's going to be extraordinary. If you do anything, if you have wanted to study being a psychic, I mean, when I was younger, we didn't have this. So this is such a great course that James has for you guys. And right now, he's got 30% off. And it's called code Intuit30. So if you sign up, you can sign up for this. It would be for people that have said to me, they wanted to go into spiritual work. This might be a great course to start you on that path. Is there a lot of paths to do this work? So many. But James has some great tools in there. So I would definitely, if you're interested in psychic work, definitely look into that, because that might be something for people, and especially it's 30% off right now. James also has, because if we talk about transformation, he also has an extraordinary trip to Maui. Now, I've been to James to Maui. I've been with him to Maui, and it's a lot of fun. And this is with Sue White, no relation to me, but she is fabulous. And my favorite thing is that it's at Lumeria in Maui, which I've got to say, I love that, Lumerians. But it's the Souls Retreat. It's the mind, body, and spirit. And it's July 9th to the 13th. And if you want change, oh my gosh, this would be extraordinary for you guys. He's got just a few seats left for this. And it's several days, July the 19th to the 13th. And he's going to be covering spirituality and holding trauma in the body. So you're going to love it. Sue is fabulous too. So if you are feeling the need for something like that, this would be the best time to do it. And I also have a retreat coming up next week, actually. No, this week. This week. It's called Roots of Healing, and it's a transformational experience, mind, body, and spirit. And it's going to be with me and Carrie Gonia, who does family constellation, and Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri, who's going to be doing shadow work and attachment and somatic, because she has worked alongside Dr. Peter Levine for years. And Carrie's work is remarkable. And I'm going to be working with everybody on going from karma to dharma. So, and also I'm going to be doing readings and all kinds of things. So we have an extraordinary 3-day event. So if you are in the Los Angeles area in Burbank, California, please come out, because it's going to be amazing. So anyhow, we just wanted to mention that. Thanks, Renee, for this period of time that we're in. Oh, I also, if you go to my website, this is the last thing, I have $5 off on some of I have these new tumblers that are amazing. I love these, and they've got a saying on it. This one has something that I said a while back: Earth is an easy school, said no soul ever, which I love this. Keeps everything so cold. I love this. And we have mugs, and it's also, it's called Welcome 5, using the code Welcome 5, and it's $5 off of all the products, including my book. So if you'd haven't read Cracked Open yet, you might want to read it. It's really interesting. It was my life of how I became a psychic medium, actually. So, and if James had those classes back then, I would have been studying with him during that. Did not know that, but I knew him, and he really helped me a lot. So back to the intense energy, because it's not over yet. On June 19th, we also have, during this, remember, this is a 2-month period till the end of July, Mars and Ketu are in Leo, which has a lot to do with the plane accident, the Air India accident too. That was Mars and Ketu. It's a very powerful, those two get together. It's a lot of fire. It's very intense. Excuse me. Again, we want to use that energy though. So to help transform, because this is for transformation. But on June 19th, Mars quincunx Saturn and Neptune, which are in Pisces in Vedic astrology. And that's also a pretty intense day, June 19th. I'm going to be traveling that day. So anybody who's traveling that day, just relax, go slow. I mean, what are you going to do? Read a book. Just relax. And because, again, these energies are kind of fierce. But on June 24th, all the way until August 12th, we have Jupiter, which is in Gemini in Vedic astrology. It's in the nakshatra called Ardra. So this is June 24th to August 12th. And Ardra, the nakshatra, which is the celestial house, Ardra, is represented by a teardrop. And it's ruled by Rudra, which is the deity that rules storms, which means more heavy-duty transformation. So June 24th to August 12th, more heavy-duty transformation. So it goes past the end of July that I'm talking about for change and transformation. And it can bring restorative energy after the transformation, certainly, but it could also bring a lot of political upheaval. I really think June, July, August, politically, whoa, I just think it's going to be a very, very intense time. And it's interesting enough, but from June 22nd to July 6th, Jupiter is also going to be combust the sun, which makes it very weak. So it's going to be quite a period of time. So there'll be a lot of, this is the time to go inward and do as much spiritual work on yourself as possible. That's why we're here during this intense time. It's about going inward. And this is pretty intense. And it's also Saturn in Vedic astrology, it's in Pisces. And it's conjunct Neptune. In Vedic astrology, it's in Pisces. So Saturn conjunct Neptune, both in Pisces, June, July, and August. And that also is kind of noteworthy because it's such a rare conjunction. And the last time that we had a situation like this was about 1857 to 1871, so during the Civil War. So, it was, again, this are warlike energies. Doesn't mean that we will have a civil war, but I think that we're going to see a lot of change, certainly. But also during that same time, what happened? We had a spiritualist movement. So we've got, this kind of transformational energy is really, really important here. What else can I say? July 4th, all the way to the end of the year, Neptune is retrograde in Pisces in Vedic astrology. So we're going to see probably a lot of, I would think, water events come up during that period of time. And also Saturn is retrograde from July 12th to the end of November. So it's interesting, that I think the next few months are going to be, I think, pretty large here. A lot of energy of change, and we have had change consistently since January. Yeah, and it's going to continue. It's not going to not. It's going to continue. It is hard. Spirit 555 says, I think knowing breaking news worldwide via the internet is too much for the human brain to keep up with. I agree. And pacing ourselves with news intake is critical. And we have to go inward. Thank you for saying it the way you did. Ironically, Spirit 555 means change. So if you're looking for certain numbers to guide you, which is fun to do, and often they bring us all kinds of information, 555 is change. But yeah, we are in a period of great transformation. But some really great transformations are possible, especially because on Earth, as a soul, we come in to do, to remember that we're a soul. We come in to start to release our karma, which karma is really unlearned lessons. So we want to start releasing as much of that as possible so we can get to our Dharma work. and we can create peace inside, because that's the most important thing that we need to do. And Trump has an opportunity. He could be assassinated. There could be absolutely we're still not done with that energy yet. It's still intense. We're just not done with that energy yet. And again, for the next couple of months, it is intense. So it is. And if you're not a fan of change, well, we will have some change. And some of the change may be that you decide you don't want to do your career anymore, that it's just not right. It doesn't feel right to you. And that could lead to a big change, actually. So that could be an extraordinary time for you to, start looking at your soul wants to do something maybe more to help people, or that it feels, more satisfied doing something else. So that's this kind of energy that it is. So anyway, just start thinking about things like that. And it also, let's say you have a difficult relationship with a family member. Really, this energy will so help you set boundaries. If you need to set boundaries, this energy is going to work in your favor to do that. You know that expression, you need a kick in the ass? Well, this energy is a kick in the ass. This energy will just push you along. Unlike that raccoon. Now, I have to wonder about that raccoon if he's still in my yard. He probably is. But it is an extraordinary time here. It just is. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. So let's see. Yes, self-confidence and values will change. Self-confidence will change. So when you go inward and you start to know who you are and value who you are, that is when things start to change. Because if you think about it, all of us have gone so fast. We go so fast. We never really take the time to go inward. And this time, I tell you, with that Ketu is the headless demon. It doesn't care. Its role is to get you to live spiritual liberation. So many people have come to me. I do readings, and so many people have come to me with situations of that they've lost their sense of self. Now, could it be through an accident or a head injury or something? Yeah, absolutely, which is what happened to me. But it could also be, if I am not a lawyer, what am I? Or if I'm not in sales, what am I? Or if I'm not this, because we have defined ourselves as our career. I remember going to Tahiti a couple of times. Nobody there ever asked what you did. They could care less. It was really all about the energy and what does this feel like. I always thought that was such a good way to live, And if you see the numbers 1111, it's often new beginnings. If you see the 1111 or 1111, it's new beginnings. Now, some people will say make a wish, which I always do when I see that. But it means a new beginning here. And so a soul will start to wake up when you start paying attention. I keep seeing this 1111. I start seeing 222. You start seeing all these different numbers. That was one way our souls were programmed so we could start to wake up. And this lifetime is so important because there's so many opportunities to wake up spiritually. And we are in one right now. We are definitely in one. Anna says that you had a possum in your yard and he ate all your cherries. It's so funny you would say that because we have a cherry tree and I picked all the cherries yesterday and I was thrilled that I didn't, that the possums and the raccoons and nobody else got them, the birds. Jamie, you feel like you've been kicked in the ass? Yeah, it feels that way. It's so intense. It's so intense. Heather, when will all this be over? What do they say when the fat lady sings? I don't know. Not for months, honey. Not for months. I mean, really not for months. We are in a great change, a great upheaval. And it's all part of this master plan. There will be change here. And we'll get through it all. We will get through it all. It's just an awful lot. So that, again, it's all to go inward. It's going to be going inward. I think inward is extremely important, It just is. When you see 444s, it's the angels are around. The angelic realm is around. So certain, repeating numbers. Just look for repeating numbers, and all of a sudden you might go, "What?" And what does it mean when you dream about babies and you don't have one? Oh, Vera, what a great question. It means something new. Babies are a new opportunity. Doesn't mean you have to have one at all. It means that a new opportunity is coming. So when I was talking about paying attention to your dreams, it's fabulous because that means a new opportunity is coming. And so it's just, it's a great thing. It also could mean, do the babies look like you? Is there something that you need to work on that from early on? Is there something that you need to work on? So there are a lot of ways to view it. I always think that when babies often means something new is coming. So, and a lot of people are exhausted right now. Yes, this energy is exhausting. It can be draining, but it can also be exhilarating. And I'm choosing to use it exhilarating because I think that it did knock me out last week. I have to say, this energy was so intense. But it's for me, it's exhilarating. So you have to think of it in, reframe it for you. Okay, reframe it for you. And Lisa says you can't get anything done. It's like you've got an imposed block or a forced pause. That will change, Lisa. It has certainly felt that way for a lot of people. It did feel that way last week to me. But yeah, I think that the energy, although it's kind of this intense energy, just go along with it. Just go along with it, Lisa, because I promise the energy will change. And this would be a great time if you are feeling blocked or you're feeling like there's a forced pause on, go inward. Just that's when we call surrender. Surrender. Okay. I don't need to be driving right now. I don't need to be doing any of that. Go inward. Great, great time to meditate. Great time to meditate. It would be, yeah. Evie says it feels like we're approaching the end of the world. Yeah, we're not. We're not. I promise we're not approaching the end of the world. We have a lot of changes that will be going on. You can see them already. I mean, they've been coming this way. Hey, Charlene, I hope I see you in Burbank. Come to our event. And it's, focus on things that bring you joy. Go out in nature. James is always talking about going out in his garden. He's got the best garden ever. Go out go outside if you can. Anything that brings you joy. And I have to tell you, I have a book here that I love this book so much. You remember we've had on our show Dr. Linda Backman. I love Dr. Linda Backman. Oh my God, she's like a soulmate. I just love her and I love her books. She has a new book out now called Soul Design, Past Lives, Origins, and Purpose, a regressionist guide to past life, origins, and purpose. Dr. Linda Backman, run to get this book. Go on Amazon. I'm sure that's where it is. I love her books, and this one is such a keeper. I cannot put this book down. Oh my gosh. And that'll help. So reading things. Damien says, losing something to dream can often symbolize our fear of losing things. Absolutely. Or losing something important or losing an aspect of ourselves. 100%, Damien, 100%. And what's important about that is then to look at what is the loss? What is it? What is it that you're afraid of losing? And look, this time is, please God, look at your fears, because what holds us back? I'm afraid to do this, or I'm afraid to do that. Well, okay, well, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's move it along. What are you afraid about? What are you, scared of? And it's just time to be looking inward and doing work on yourself. If you need a therapist, go find a great therapist. They are out there. How do you surrender? I'll tell you, Brenner. Great question. You just stop what you're doing and go inward. Turn off everything and literally just surrender. Just start to meditate. Go into meditation. Go out in nature. Don't try to force anything to happen, because it just, if you have to force things, it's probably time to surrender. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to get back up, but there are times in life where you just surrender. I give up for today. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. Oh, a white dove in your backyard last week. That's a wonderful sign, Charlene. And Rose, people are forgetting stuff. And I think it's because everything seems to be set at such a high intensity that people kind of go into freeze mode. There's fight, there's flight, there's freeze, and forgetting things, Oh, your son saw a white deer last week? How cool is that? Wow. Oh, I'm sorry, Debbie, to hear your sister has terminal leukemia. What can I do to help her? Well, just tell her how much she's loved. She's your family's matriarch. Oh gosh, just tell her how much you love her and that you're always there for her. Just do that. It's hard, because we are going to see people with big illnesses that come along. And why is that? And it's the soul's way of learning things, learning compassion, learning patience, learning forgiveness, so other people can feel compassion too. And so what we say spiritually is be grateful for all the experiences. And I believe that in the next few months, we're all going to have lots of experiences. So be grateful for all of this. And is it possible that you can raise your vibration even though I'll never be the same from the loss of your child? Absolutely, you can it's a great question. But your child would absolutely expect you to raise your vibration because of the loss. Yes, I understand grief and loss deeply. But the soul can still raise the vibration of love, because you want to turn inward to love here, inward and outward to love, and honoring your child through the loss, honoring by raising your vibration. So yes, listen, and I understand depression and I understand grief. So always know that you can still, even though through that, you come through that piece of it. Okay, I hope that helps. Fear of the unknown kills creativity and living. Right on, Jen. That is so true. Fear of the unknown. Right. It will kill creativity and it'll kill why you're living here. It's so true, Jen. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So fear, James always says there are two emotions, fear and love. Choose love. And it's true. Be on the side of love. Choose to surrender and do that. Fun Feed says, I have anxiety about going out because of all the protests and the negative vibes of the news media. I understand, Fun Feeds. I like that expression. I understand that. A lot of people do, honey. Then don't go out. Honor yourself. Honor yourself. Don't go out. Okay? Evie says, I'm a therapist and I never felt the way I feel right now, exhausted mentally and physically. Totally understand, Evie. That will change. So you need to surrender and go in. If you need to take a few days off, do that if you need to. Because we all ultimately have to take care of ourselves. We are responsible for taking care of ourselves. So you can do it. It's okay. Again, set boundaries, Kathy Zudniak said somebody tried to start a fire behind her fence yesterday. Isn't that interesting, Kathy? I'm sorry to hear that. But Mars and Ketu in Leo is fire. That's fire. And you have the sun aspect. That's fire. So this is a very, again, intense time. It's intense time. But is there a spiritual meaning when you keep dropping items? Anything I pick up seems to fly out of my hands. That's a great question, Beatrix. Let's see. Well, are you in your body? Are you grounded in your body when you're picking things up? Are you paying attention? So you do want to be as conscious as you can, even though the energies are intense. You still want to be conscious. So if you need to take a break, take a break. We all have times we drop things, and we trip and we fall and we don't want to do that, though. That's why you want to go slowly, deliberately, consciously during this intense period that we're in. And I'm going to say, I know I said to the end of July, but it's really that the conjunction ends the end of July with Mars and Ketu. But we still have some very powerful energies that last through August. Okay, so again, if you are, let's see. Oh, Laura Crum says, I did a heart body scan that helped, that David G has. Love David G. I will tell you this, go to David G's site, and she said it really helps with the chaos of today. He's got a body scan. He was on our show, he was on our show, what, I can't remember, a few months ago or a year ago. Oh, I love him. If you want to have a wonderful experience with somebody who's an extraordinary teacher, a teacher of meditation, look up David G. Just saying his name is calm. He is something else. Okay, you would love that. And Anne Margaret going to see Chicago and the B-52s and Cyndi Lauper, how fun is that? You know, again, you want to be able to go out and do things and take care of yourself in any which way that you can. And yes, Jen Zambo says, taking a pause is self-love. We have to triage ourselves and see where we are and make the necessary adjustments based on our energy and feelings. Right on. Absolutely. So everybody, want everybody to have a great week. If you are in the Los Angeles area, please join us this week, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Burbank, California, the Game of Life retreat. We're really excited about it. I can't wait to see everybody that's going to be there, and everybody that joins us will get a tumbler or a mug. I'm not sure, which is so great. You guys would love that. And if you're in a space in July and want to go to Maui with James Van Praagh, oh my God, James would love it. He's got it. It's in Lemuria, Maui. I mean, my goodness gracious. It's going to be great. And that's July 9th to the 13th. And that's going to be great. The Souls Retreat with Sue White. You guys would love it. She's fabulous, by the way. She truly is a great teacher. And it could be, you don't have to be any level at all. You could just do sit yoga when they do that, because it's really going to be about mind, body, and spirit. So it's going to be great. And also sign up for James's Psychic Intuitive course, because it's 30% off right now. All right. And I'm $5 off for everything that I have on my site. So go check that out. So everybody, we will see you next Monday. We have a fabulous guest next Monday. So join us next week on Life After Death and Beyond with James Van Praagh and Kellee White, me. So take care, my friends.